What's up, Cave Dwellers? I'm Gabe.
I'm Darren. Where are we, Gabe?
Not at the new studio.
Not at the new studio. Not yet. Getting closer and closer.
We actually did a lot of work on it.
We did. We are getting closer and closer as the days and weeks progress.
We got a really cool new table.
We do have a really cool new table. I think we said that last time. It's really, really cool, and I can't wait for everybody to see it in the reveal video or whatever, if Allison hasn't already. Yeah, I think she already posted it on Instagram.
Did she?
Yeah, me laying on top of it, actually.
How did it not fall over? Doesn't it need a support?
I was laying on the front side of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
it's a little bit wild.
really cool table. We're making good progress. We're waiting on a few more things to come in the mail, like some XLR cables and some other stuff that we have to run through the walls before we can really finish up and finish the studio.
Actually, technical difficulties.
Yeah, technical difficulties. We're having, issues with everything studio-wise and all this stuff, and Chris is out. He's been out for a couple weeks. He's having other issues. I'm not going to say on here, but nothing on his part. Just can't make it on to the show to film or anything like that. So we're going to have just basic, simple stuff until we can get back to the normal flow. We have the sign on the building now. It is really cool, and we have people stopping every day to try to steal all of Gabe's things.
There's a building with a neon sign, and the
it's
neon
got Gabe's
sign
name,
has my name
on
plastered
the
on
front of the building. How does it make you feel, Gabe?
I don't want to discuss this.
I think it's cool. I think the comic shop is going to be really cool. I think the lounge and the studio, everything.
Oh, it looks really cool.
I'm excited for it, and here's a little sneak peek. Not sneak peek, but a little secret, everybody. I'm going to work on my cars in the back.
I thought you weren't going to do that.
Surprise. Anyways.
Because spiders.
Yeah, I don't like spiders.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Team Blowtorch.
We will get on with the show today, and it is a super simple show, but it is a really cool one. We got to meet some really cool people at PlanetCon a couple weeks back. Someone we met, really cool. I don't know. I've never met him before until then. Dad may have met him before, but it's Darren Hutchinson, spelled the same way as mine, so he's automatically cool. And Darren is the owner of Unknown Comics. Some of you may have heard of Unknown Comics. If you haven't, make sure that you check them out. They are really poppin'. They're really, really cool. Really cool comic book store. They do a lot of their own.
One might say neat.
Yeah, neat. They do a lot of their own exclusives, and they have their own comic line as well as just an overall cool store. And I'm not going to lie to you. Let me check this real quick. And I just had it a second ago. In Amarillo, Texas. I knew it was in Texas, but I was thinking...
Armadillo.
Yeah, Armadillo, Texas. Yeah, over in West Texas. I go through there all the time, actually. More than I probably should, but we'll probably stop in there now that I know where it is.
Either way, he was a really cool guy.
Yeah, he really was. Yeah. Good to talk to. Kind of a lot of... gave some good insight on opening our own store and all that stuff. So, without further ado... We'll jump into the interview with him that Marty did, and we hope you enjoy it.
Welcome back to Gabe's Cave, everybody. I have Darren Hutchinson with Unknown Comics.
Hello again.
How you doing, Darren?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with us for a little bit in the cave.
Absolutely. This is fun.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Darren. Tell us a little bit about Unknown Comics for those that don't know. Yeah, just tell us a little bit about it.
So Unknown Comics will be around 5 years, October 5th. So I started Unknown Comics after I had a run I worked for Hastings. I don't know if you know what Hastings is.
I do know what Hastings is.
So I ran the comic program and the collectible card program for Hastings for 2.5 years before they went out of business. And I actually helped build in-store play, like all the Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all that stuff that was built into the stores. I actually helped design all of that. And then I bought all of the comics and did all the exclusives for the entire chain of Hastings. And so after they went out of business, I just kind of decided I was going to go back into business for myself, and I opened up a store again. Because I actually opened my first store 10 years ago this month. And I sold my stores to go work for Hastings. So I've been doing the exclusives and comics. We are the largest dealer in the world in exclusive content when it comes to comic book covers.
Wow.
We're actually applying for the Guinness Book of World Records to actually solidify that. We are also we have a huge online presence for just weekly comics, and we just opened up our first 12,000 square foot retail store. So,
I was talking to you about it the other day, and I'd actually stopped by. I guess it was last year. I think it was right during the pandemic, and y'all wasn't really opening to the public at the time, so I didn't get a chance to stop by. But
well, my thought process has always been, because I used to be a store, I had a lot of locals that immediately flooded back in as soon as I opened Unknown Comics. But I was never really, in my mind, I do things in stages. So my first stage was develop my online presence. Don't worry about retail, worry about online, because the one thing that I learned from working at Hastings, and one of the biggest things that I ever learned, and all people who jump into this game need to understand, your city limits is not your customer base. The world is your customer base. Your city limits is the people who come in and say hi. So don't get caught up in thinking only locally. Think globally. Otherwise, you're going to struggle for the rest of your life in this industry. And that's what Hastings taught me. Hastings taught me a lot about being more of a global brand than a local brand.
Don't put yourself in a box.
Correct. And always evolve.
Well, the earth is round.
It is.
Not flat. So therefore we could go ahead and say, don't put yourself in a box. You're doing a phenomenal job. I mean, I've known about Unknown Comics for a long time, and have several. Actually, we have several of your exclusives. So tell us some of the artists that you had with Unknown Comics, because I mean, it was amazing.
So the big thing, I have 4 artists that have now crossed almost 4. I have 3 artists that have crossed into the 50-plus covers for Unknown Comics, and that's Tyler Kirkham, Jay Anacleto, and Kel New. Miko Sawayan is 3 covers away from his 50th cover with us. And then we have 3 more artists that are in their 40s or 30s for covers. Some other cover artists, we've done a lot with Delato. I love his stuff, but most of his stuff is we just watch his Instagram. He does not really new art. It's just commissions we turn into covers. David Nakayama has probably been our biggest home run hitting new artist that we've ever had in the history of Unknown Comics. So he came onto the scene and people fell in love with his work. Crease, he's another. We met him at a convention actually 3 years ago, and since then we've gone on to be his first cover for almost every publisher, because he just randomly sat with us at a show that he was left behind by the booth he was supposed to be at, and since then he's gone on to. We've hosted his first cover for Marvel, DC, Image, Vault, Aftershock, I believe. I think the only one we haven't is IDW. So that's been fun. But it's really fun to just work with all these different guys. Marco Mastrazo, Miguel Micardo. God, the list just goes on and on and on. To just be able to work with these guys, they're so talented. And Unknown Comics would be nothing without them, and I would be nothing without my staff. I have a staff of 23 employees currently, and I wouldn't be anything without them. So,
well, I know, just being around a lot of the artists, some people don't realize that most of them are really humble people, and they're just normal people just like us, and that's what I love about it.
Well, and I almost wonder if that comes into the mentality when they come into the industry. They have to set up in these artist alley booths, and they have to kick and scrape and fight just to be noticed, because if you walk through Artist Alley at any convention, you really have to stand out. So it's probably a pretty humbling thing to go for years hoping somebody notices you, to now a lot of these guys are household names. And now I've met some divas in the industry, but I would say that none of the artists that we work with are in the diva level. They're all very awesome to work with, and they're great people. So,
do you have contracts with most of these? Are they like exclusive to Unknown Comics?
So we don't have any contracts with any of these guys. Most of the stuff is actually commissioned through Marvel and DC. So their contracts are with Marvel and DC. We just hire Marvel to do the work for us. Now we are fixing to set up, actually representing a couple of these guys that we've been working with over the years. And so we'll help them with their convention setup. But in my opinion, no artist should be exclusive with any one store, because that takes away from the artist's ability to sell themselves. I think anybody signing contracts as an artist to a store is silly, because you should be neutral in all things and just work when you get work. And that's always been my opinion.
I believe I met you the first time at S2E30 in 2019 maybe, or 20, I can't remember. I'm not sure. I believe it was right before the pandemic started.
So was Jay Anacleto with us? Because 2020 we had Jay Anacleto, 2019 we had Miko Sawayan, and 2018 we had Tyler Kirkham at our booth. I can always tell by the years based on who was sitting in my booth. I
believe it was you there. Was it right before the pandemic started?
It was. We've done C2E2 every year since 2017. So that's one of the shows that we've jumped on and stayed on. It's actually my favorite show of all conventions.
One of my friends had told me that I needed to meet you, and you wouldn't have known me because I wasn't. I'm a nobody, but anyway, still. But I did run into you there, and I introduced myself to you, and I met you anyway, but it was just a quick run.
Right.
But just to see you grow like y'all been doing, I mean, it's just unreal. And there's a lot of cool things in line. I know you were talking about it to me yesterday. So what's up new, or what's up next for Unknown Comics?
So Unknown Comics is going in so many different directions right now. Right now, currently, we're already planning our stages of opening our second retail store in a different city. We're going through right now and trying to pick the location in which we want to start scouting buildings. We also have gotten into some self-publishing stuff. We produced our very first book, Muffy the Pimp Slayer. It makes me giggle every time I say the word, but it's real. We produced that, and that's among the first of 5 books that we're going to produce over the next 2 years. And, of course, just building out the convention setup, and then, of course, expanding into actually representing some of these artists that we work with. So lots and lots of different directions that we're moving all at the same time.
You ever get overwhelmed?
All the time. Again, if not for my staff and how amazing my staff is, I would just roll over and give up, because my brother's worked with me since the beginning. He handles all the website information that goes up. And then I've got a really good core management team with Amy and Tanner and Clay and Alicia, who, they run anything from customer service to shipping to the info that goes on our website, our online social media stuff, to CGC and signature stuff. So we have so many different departments.
Well, I have a question for you, because a lot of our subscribers, a lot of them are artists.
Okay.
And when we open up for for our artists to apply, we have so many that just flood into us, and we have to, we go through them, and then we have a team of about 4 or 5 that pick through the artists that we want to select for each season. And I'd love for you to take a look if you're ever looking for new artists to come on board. I know y'all are such big, and y'all probably got a lot of y'all probably flooded too.
We do get hit all the time with artists that want to show us their stuff. But the beauty of what I do is I actually love working with new artists. The way my personality works is I love building things. And so if I see something that I think that we can build off of, I'm always open to work with artists. The only thing is, a lot of artists don't like to hear that they're not ready yet, or they're not open to the criticism that we may give. And it's never negative. It's more of, tweak this, do a little bit of this differently. Most new artists, our first tip, if you are a new artist, and if I have a second, the most time they get so caught up in doing everything, they forget they should just work on their pencils and lines and let somebody else do their colors for them while they work on their anatomy. That's my number one thing I end up telling most new artists that want to work with us. Let somebody else color your work while you work on the
next thing,
the essentials.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're always open. We get hit up. We've probably produced more first-time cover art than any of the other stores when it comes to actually giving artists their first chance at a cover. So,
I seen an episode with Todd McFarlane. He was talking about it, and one of the things he said was, you don't have to be the best. You just have to be quick.
Right.
And so what you're saying, the essentials, the pencils, the inks, and then let somebody else let someone else color is really important.
Yeah, I mean, because it gives you more time to be able to focus on. A lot of times, coloring your own stuff, you don't see what you're missing. But somebody else coloring your stuff, take that opportunity to learn from them. A lot of these guys will get so caught up in their own colors that they may not see that they're too flat or they're too bright. If they let someone who's trained in it do it, and then they can start learning and maybe reverse engineering how that colors is doing it and learn. But most of these guys that I've talked to or worked with that are hell-bent on I want to do it all. And I'm like, trust me when I say you just need to work on this and get there. I mean, everybody gets back to where they want to be, but, everything's in stages and steps.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
well, Darren, I do appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us for a little bit. For all you that don't know, it's actually unknowncomicbooks.com, right?
Unknowncomicbooks.com.
What about I know y'all have an Instagram.
You can also look up Unknown Comics on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. I think we're on Twitch and YouTube as well.
Well, I know when y'all have an exclusive, and y'all have them like all the time.
Right.
Okay? They're like sold out just like that.
Not ours, typically.
No.
I don't really get into that whole false sense of rarity. So we let ours sell until they actually sell out. So a lot of our stuff doesn't sell out immediately. It sells out over time.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, that's good to know. So for anybody looking for some exclusives, definitely check them out because they have some amazing Miko. I've seen some of Miko's work. I got to meet him a few weeks back, and I'll tell you what, the Moon Knight cover he did. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, it's unreal.
Well, me and Miko Sawayan and Tyler Kirkham, we all go back to when I worked at Hastings. So we actually go back beyond Unknown Comics.
So Tyler worked. You met Tyler when you was at Hastings?
So I was actually Tyler Kirkham's first ever exclusive cover for DC. Fun story about that was, so DC used to not do exclusives. They wouldn't allow it. The old management didn't approve of exclusives. And so they finally opened it up on Dark whatever it is, the Frank Miller book number 3, the Master Race. And DC sent me the list over, and it had names like Neil Adams and huge names in the industry. And I told him I didn't want any of those names. I've been following this guy, Tyler Kirkham, on Facebook, and I'd like to use him instead. And they're like, are you sure you want to use him? We have all these other guys. Like, no, I want to use Tyler Kirkham. I like his stuff on Facebook. And they're like, all right. And then, as soon as he turned in his art for the cover, Vince, who was the guy at the time, was like, yeah, I've got that print hanging up on my wall now. Good choice. So, and ever since then, we've just kind of worked together. That point on, he did every single exclusive for DC that Hastings could do before they went out of business. Tyler Kirkham was our guy. And so when we actually started Unknown Comics, DC just linked Tyler Kirkham to me again, so we just kept working with the DC stuff and eventually started doing Marvel for me as well. So
timing is everything.
It is. And then the same thing that happened with Miko. So I love those guys. They're two great human beings. Again, I love all the artists that we work with.
Well, again, thank you for stopping by Gabe's Cave, and I know you're a busy man and got a lot on your plate, and I appreciate you and wish you the best of luck.
Well, thank you. It's been fun, and again, this is just the neatest setup with the whole red carpet screening in the middle of a convention, so that's a really cool thing.
Well, thanks again. Thanks.
All righty, folks. Hope you enjoyed the interview. Darren, thank you for doing the interview with us. Now we'll jump right into the...
I thought you were congratulating yourself. I was like,
no.
Wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute.
We'll jump right into the best part of the show, I suppose, and that is giving stuff away. And I did run the interview already, and we are giving away Chris Collier's cards. We have some here.
Ooh.
Not some. We have all the remaining ones. And those will be up on the giveaway thing will be up on the screen now.
Damn's the good ones.
Yeah, these are some really good cards here. Yeah, it'll be up now you should be looking at it, flipping through
Do it.
the random.org, looking at it right now, and I believe I've given it enough time. Let's look at the winners here. So, we got the winners here. Congratulations to Daniel Daly for winning first place, Chris Thillman, Travis Guay. I probably butchered that. Scott Newton Jr., Adam Albrecht, Cody Fonseca, and Steve Cybulski. And the winner of the loot box is Amber Folliette. Or Denise. I'm not sure what you go by.
Twice?
What?
Cybulski.
He won loot box a week or two ago?
Yeah. Something like that.
He won a card this time. This go around. Alrighty, congratulations. We love you. We're glad that you entered in our contest, and we hope that more people do it so we can give more stuff away and
We can't keep it.
show more people about the free stuff.
It's not ours. It's yours.
Now, let's go into this week's Artist Spotlight. So this week's Artist Spotlight is Alex Mines. We have several of his cards left. I believe, what do we have? 6. Wait, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 8 cards left? Yeah, 8 cards left. We're going to give away 7, so we're going to have 1 left, and we'll probably throw it in the loot box just like we do normally with the remaining cards.
Yeah, we're giving away a lot of cards, which,
We are.
as the bus driver from The Dark Knight Rises said, that's a lot of money.
Okay. All right.
No,
For some high-res pictures of the cards, make sure you always check out Instagram and Facebook. They've always got them. Allison always has those up on the socials, as well as a link to the channel and everything else. Make sure that you click the first link in the description to get entered in, that gabescave.com/giveaways. Make sure you enter in all legit and not fake stuff, because we won't send it to you if we can't send it to you. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, because that's how we know if you actually like our stuff. And if you don't, make sure you leave a comment and tell us how terrible we are and why Gabe's face looks like that. Anyways,
It's genetic.
anyways, I think we've rambled enough. I've had fun today, and I think we need to get out of here and go find some food at some point.
See you in the next video
Well,
where
wait
I
a
give
minute.
more obscure references.
Yes. First off, we have to thank our sponsor, and I was going to do
yeah.
that before you said anything. Thanks, RPG, for letting us use your lounge while we get our studio finished up. Now, Gabe, do it.
All bye.